What's going on, guys? Welcome back. 2012 Town & Country. This is the minivan we've had in the shop before. And I forget how to open this thing. There she is. Okay. So we got prop rod. So I think I told you in previous videos we've had check engine light coming on and off and on and off. And when it's cold, we have more on than off. So we're gonna replace the thermostat. It is down around here. I need to get a light on the situation, but we got a new one. It comes with the housing and the thermostat because often you break the plastic housing or it's just harder to replace. So in this, you just replace the entire thing. So we're gonna have to put a drain pan underneath to catch coolant. And I'll put on the screen what the code is. But sometimes when you have this, you can see where you're at. So we're down here, like I said, on this side of the engine. Don't have light on the situation. I'm gonna pull the cover off. That's the easy part. I don't need this right now. That's the easy part. Just pop it up. And we'll get that out of the way. She's back down again. Told you, it's the easy part. 3.6 liter. Same for Dodge Caravans. Volkswagen Routons, I bet. All that good stuff. So I think we're going to take something out here. Move this out of the way. Maybe just pop that off. And we'll get down to it. I'll get a light on the situation. And let's get started. Okay. Well, I got my camera light on. You can see right here. It focuses right there in the light is our housing. There's our bleeder on the top right there. So we got to take our pan is on the bottom now. You know what? It's probably not going to fall to the floor because we have a lower valance on the bottom. Great. So anyway, this has to come off right here. This clamp comes off, then the hose pops off. Then we got a couple bolts to remove. And then we're good to go. I wonder how easily I can get my hand down in there. I actually can. If I wanted to do this without moving anything up here, I could. Otherwise, you can take this out of the way. Just take your power steering reservoir off. You can kind of move it a little bit, but I may not have to. It's not that big a deal. Okay, what do we got? 10 millimeter? Let's check. Figured I'd show you what code we're running here. Read codes. Current DTCs, there is one. It is for the P0128. Coolant temperature, coolant thermostat. Temperature below thermostat regulating temperature. So that tells us that the thermostat is not closing completely and letting it heat up. That's it. That's why we're doing the thermostat. You hear the oil, fuel pump running there. Yep, that's what she does. Runs and runs. Okay, here we go. Moved the, there was a 1/2-inch nut right there. Moved the steering fluid reservoir out of the way. Now I can reach right down in here and get my hose clamp off there. Pop that line off. Do have everything ready to drain out. Got my coolant catch down there, my pan, and then we're gonna get this off here. That is a 10 millimeter bolt. We need to take off 2 of those, and then we're good. And then it pops right off the side. All right, 2 ways you can do this. You see you got the clamp pushed back. So we can get the hose off the housing while it's on the engine so it's steady. Or you can take the housing off and turn it out of the hose. So I think we're gonna end up doing that. I don't think I got the clamp quite off, but I'm having trouble getting that hose to push off of the housing. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen the housing. Lose all our coolant right now. Your top 10mm bolt shouldn't be too hard. It's right there. You can see it. That's what she looks like. And I believe they're the same exact bolts. The bottom one, same thing. So make sure you don't lose them because your new one probably didn't come with it. Now we reach down and free up the gasket. Pop it right off. There we go. That's all we need to do. Leaking down into my pan, hopefully. And now we have the job of getting this out of the hose. So I'm just gonna turn it back and forth. I could even fish it up here and make it real easy. We can pull it the whole way out here and actually look at it if we want to. That's all the coolant come out of this hose itself. It's gonna leak down to, I don't know, about that level in your radiator. So make sure you're topping that off when you're done. So we'll let that drain a little bit. It's also running out of the engine. Right there is the engine hole. Right there. That needs to be clean and dry when you install your new one. Just a note, doing what I did, just got coolant all over my drive belt and pulleys. So that could be a problem. Hopefully not. My belt's been a little squeaky from time to time when you start it up and then it goes away. We might be replacing the belt soon if that gets sticky. But I did pull this out, so now, yeah, this isn't completely off. We'll walk this back a little bit now that it's easy, and we'll get this sucker out of here. And we will install the new one down there, and then we'll push this on. I think it'd be easier to install that and then push the hose on than to put this in here and then put it on. That might not work that great. This hose clamp was definitely not fully past the housing, so that's why it wasn't coming off down there. I got it back. I was able to turn this in the hose. Now I gotta wiggle it out, pull it out as we go. You can see here why our thermostat was not closing. Well, you can see that it's not completely closing. It's open a little bit in there. Now, if we were just replacing the thermostat, I guess it would come out of here somehow. Looks like it would turn and we could pop it out. But that's not what we're doing, so we'll just get this whole thing out of here. I was under the impression that we had green all-purpose coolant in here, and as it's coming out, it looks pretty red. So it's either really dirty or it got mixed, because it looked pretty green up top. But now that stuff came out of the engine, it looked kind of red. So anyway, we don't want to mix coolants. I think our green all-purpose can work with anything. So forget about having this dry. We're just going to have to stick the new thermostat in here and watch that it doesn't leak. And then we can go about sticking the rest together. So I'm going to put this in, put the bolts in, tighten them down snugly, and then put the hose on and fill her back up with green coolant. Make sure your old gasket came off with this. Haha, I don't see the gasket on here. Here's our new one with the gasket on it. So I gotta go fishing for a gasket apparently. If you have two gaskets in there, they are not gonna mate up and they're not gonna do good for you. Unless it fell out at some other rung. Oh, nope. There's our old gasket right there. Yeah, make sure that's off because I was about to try to put this on. Okay, good call. Go ahead and get your 10mm bolts in there hand tight. And then what I like to do is go back with a socket or something and just kind of follow them up. And you shouldn't be hearing drips now because once that's on there, it should be sealing and there's no pressure. So if you're still hearing drips, you got something wrong. Maybe you left the old gasket on. But at this point, the thermostat should be closed. I'm just making sure these are a little bit, I did hand tighten them and now I got this little guy on there so it's a better grip. Feels solid. I'm just gonna tighten it one more little time with the ratchet, and then we'll work on putting the hose back on. All right, get them snug. I don't know the torque specs, but you just want to get them snug. If you go too tight, you're going to break your plastic housing and be off to the parts store again. I believe that we're probably good to go now. We can fish this line back through, back down there. I could probably actually move this out of the way. It goes down right there. And like I said, there is now coolant everywhere. Oh, I dropped my wrench down there. I got to go grab that. And yeah, right down there's my wrench. That didn't work great anyway, so sliding this on shouldn't be that hard. Getting this back on might be tough. The clamp, that is. And then we'll fill her up from here. We'll fill up the radiator, run a little bit, keep checking it. And we might need to bleed it from, all you gotta do is turn that until fluid comes out. If there's any air, it should collect right there in that guy right there. So yeah, we'll push this on. The housing seems solid. Not moving around, and I don't want to torque it too hard. So slide this on and get this clamp on. It's pretty easy to slide that sucker back on. See down there? Ooh, where are we? We're down there. Okay, see? There's a little tab on the housing that actually tells you where to stop. So the hose slides up to that little tab on the top. See? A little dark there. And then now I got to work on getting that clamp back up. Match it up right where it's at, and we should be sealed up. All right, so got the clamp back in place. I got it actually lined up exactly where it was. So hopefully that is good to go. I did have a screwdriver holding back the power steering pump. At this point, let's go ahead and just start filling this up with the clean green fluid. And we'll just fill this up. This is the only spot that I see that we would fill. Don't forget your nut. It goes back on here when you put the power steering pump back in place. This I saw was out of place when I got in here. So there's a little knobby thing here that actually slides into the air box. I don't know if I bumped that when I was in here before, but you just gotta, oh, it worked before. Slide that back up into place so that she's in the right spot. Okay, that's good. Now, I wish I had a funnel. Do I have a funnel? Probably somewhere. Don't want to get more coolant on the ground. I didn't think I was spilling. And my wife walked in and said, "Do you know there's fluid all over the floor?" And I said, "Oh, no, I didn't know. It was going that way." So I thought I was being clean, and here I was being messy after all. So I'll start filling this up. Fill this up slow, and you're going to get air pockets. Oh, that went down already. You see it's going. But as you get towards the top, it's going to go down slower, and you'll see air coming out. Now, once this is topped up, I'm going to crack that down there and get the air out. Still more to go. Since we're so close up here, I think now's a good time to let air out down there. But I was going to show you here, I looked in my overflow coolant tank, and way down there, right about that level, it's right about the minimum. The fluid is red. It looks red. So now I know that this ran red at one point, and I don't think we've added green, but here we are. Okay, we'll actually take this screwdriver out from holding this, and we'll just drop down here and see if we crack this. I don't know if this will air up, like if you hear a spurt like brake fluid, or if it'll just, as long as fluid comes out of here, there shouldn't be any air bubbles in here. You hear air. I hear air coming out. There's fluid. All right. That's convenient. That's great. I love how they do that. So we got the air out of there. We'll keep filling this up until it's full and I can see it, and then let the rest of the air out if there is any. Now that should be fluid from down there all the way up through here, and once this is topped up, we're full. Then we should run it, make sure it cools and doesn't leak, and we'll be done. Okay, so I tapped that screw right there once and then filled up some more. We definitely got air out the first time, and then went and filled this up until it stopped going. Opened it again, a little bit of fluid came out, shut it down, and yeah, just cracked a little bit, and I don't think we have more air in there now. Bubbles stopped coming up here, so we'll make sure we put our cap back on here. Make sure it's down and tight. Now we're gonna go and run it. And should we reset the computer, or should we let it figure itself out? Now, here's something to note. I did not drain this and flush it and everything, but this is not 50-50. This is straight concentrated antifreeze coolant. Will I have trouble with that in Pennsylvania? I am not sure. A lot of times I'm just topping stuff off. I'll usually get this, and I'm not doing half a system. It probably took about half a gallon to fill this up, and now we don't have any leaks. I made a freaking mess, and I think I wish I could have a hose. I don't have a hose here, so I can't really wash it down. This should go to the car wash, and we should hose all this down and make sure there's nothing floating around, because this stuff's going to heat up and stink, and I feel bad for my wife who drives this van. I did make a mess over here, so I got to clean that up, but I guess what we'll do is all we can really do is start it up, back it out, and clean up our mess. I guess that's what I'll do. I'll just park it across the parking lot and let it run, and I guess we'll go ahead and reset the computer and see if it comes back on. But for now, if the thermostat was the issue, it could have been just bad coolant. Now we have some fresh new coolant, and it does actually say on the bottle that, right there, compatible with most antifreezes regardless of color. So that's what I like to use. Usually the green stuff is that way. If you have red, or what's the other one? Blue, I think there's an ice one. You don't want to mix those up, but the green's pretty much universal, as far as I know. Don't quote me on that. But I got my bolt back in here, got the air filter housing and everything back on. Make sure that's all tight, and we should be good to go. I am going to pull this out just in case we spring a leak. We don't want to make more of a mess everywhere. So we'll put the hood down and back her out. No belt squeak to be worried about here. Let's go ahead. Here's our P0128. We're going to do this. Let's see, exit out. Current, yeah, I know current. We're gonna go down to erase codes, clear. Are you sure? And hit enter and say yes. And it says, please turn on ignition with engine off and enter to continue. She is burning off some coolant because it looks like she's smoking. Oh, it's mad that the engine's running. All right, well, I can shut her down. Hopefully our smoking stops. It's burning all that junk off. All right, let's turn. Oh, my light is off now. Let's see if we get it. Erase codes. Ignition on, engine off, enter to continue. All right, everything's cleared. So we'll see from now on, see what it is. I will have to check the coolant, and maybe we'll have to, I don't know, we should do a flush. But right now, it's probably pretty good. Anyway, I'm happy with it. Nothing's on fire. I'll see you guys on the next one. We should let it run a little while and just verify that it's not on fire. No check engine light now. We should be good. I'll see you guys on the next one. Get out and wrench. Have a great one. Bye. Coolant is all getting burned off. It really smells. But no more smoking, so that's good. No squeaking either. Let's see how messy I was down here. Hey, we didn't do too bad. We caught most of it. It just ran down here with the rest of it. So I'll mop this up and see you guys on the next one. I don't see any leaks down here. We should be good to go.